I worship you. I worship you. You are here working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here moving in our midst. I worship you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am so happy to be here with you live today in studio. Now, first of all, before I introduce my next guest, my only guest today, today's going to be crazy. We're going to be doing it in English. We're going to be doing it in Creole. We invite everybody to stay tuned, call in with your question. We're going to talk about health, mainly health. The main subject is going to be about primary care. What do you expect from your primary care? But before we do that, let me introduce you to this next guest. This is a friend, a partner, and you guys have heard him before. I've been teasing you guys about bringing him on, and finally, we were able to find a way to bring him on board. And the person that I'm talking about is none other than Dr. Jones Cemelus. Good afternoon, Dr. Cemelus. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Gilbert.
Welcome.
Nice to be here.
Welcome to Source of Information Live. This portion is in English.
Yeah. Indeed.
Okay. So if anybody calls in Creole, we're going to have to take the call.
You'll have to translate.
We'll do the translation. How are you doing?
Well, I can't complain.
Good,
health,
good.
We're healthy, and that's the most important thing.
Great. So what have you been doing? You've been relaxing?
I have to be relaxed. Yeah.
All right, that's good. Now we're going to talk about primary care. Let's talk about what's the role of a primary care doctor.
Well, I have to tell you a story before. One thing that is very common, which is a trend these days, is that when the medical students, when they enrolled, nowadays they don't see themselves being a primary care physician. Everybody wants to do a specialty, whether it's cardiology, whether it's endocrinology, even emergency room physician. So primary care is not appealing to doctors. Because what we have to deal with as a primary care is so much, people don't want to do that anymore. So all primary care that you see, they have one thing in common: passion. You have to have lots of passion for what you do. Otherwise, you're going to hate yourself, and you're going to end up with too much burden, and you will not want to continue to do it. So one thing we all share in common is that we have passion for what we do, because we know we make a huge difference in the lives of the people we treat. So that's one thing. So now I forgot the question you were asking.
Well, the role of a primary care, you basically got into it. I think a lot of people take primary care doctors for granted because you serve a role that first you serve as a gatekeeper of the insurance, then you've seen about 20 to 25 patients on a daily basis, and you basically you're the person that control everything, whether this patient is going to see a specialist, the medication that they're taking. How does that feel like? Talk to me about that.
Well, now you're talking about it as in terms of insurance, but I want to go back in history. So we educate people why they have to come up with the term primary care. So let's imagine now someone who is a mechanic, right? And one day he ends up with chest pain. When everybody has chest pain, they think that they're having a heart attack. So you go to the hospital, obviously. And at the hospital, they run some tests, and hopefully they tell you everything is okay. Everything is okay for now, that you don't need to be hospitalized. You need to follow up. And whenever you go to the hospital for chest pain, they're going to tell you follow up with a cardiologist. So in the past, what would happen is that you end up with the cardiologist, and the cardiologist will run some tests, right? It will do a stress test, echocardiogram. Obviously, the EKG is done already. And then everything is normal. And they rule out you don't have a heart condition. And the cardiologist might tell you, well, you need to check with your gastroenterologist, a stomach doctor. You go with the stomach doctor. And same thing happened. They run an upper endoscopy, and probably they could do an ultrasound and tell you, my workup is normal. Probably now it's from the lung, and so on. It goes on and on and on and on. And now you have gone through a lot of specialists, and you're still having chest pain until you get to the right place. Someone tells you, well, you know what, it's the muscle that's hurting you. You just take some ibuprofen, it's going to be okay. So what just happened is that you went through a lot of specialists, and these specialists, it's a lot of resources. What I mean by that, it's a lot of money that has been spent.
Exactly.
And your insurance covers all that, thank God. But now, imagine that many people deal with this situation every day. So the government had to come up with a solution. So that's where primary care physician had to take over. So when those kind of situations happen, right, whatever symptom you have, the first person you should be consulting, if it's not life-threatening, if you don't need to go to the emergency room right away, you check your primary care doctor, who would know you, who, if not, would examine you and set up a treatment right now if it's necessary, whatever treatment is appropriate. And if you need to be referred to any specialist, he would refer you. So that's why you need a primary care physician, a doctor who knows you, a doctor who understands you, who would make the primary workup so you don't get to do all these researches by yourself. You don't get to go to the cardiologist unnecessarily. You don't get to go to the stomach specialist unnecessarily. Yeah. So sometimes also you go to the hospital, right? And then the hospital tell you, follow up with your primary doctor. The hospital doesn't have any idea which medication you're taking, especially when you didn't bring your bottles at the hospital.
That's a good point.
So the hospital doesn't know if you did many tests before. They have no idea. Remember, the hospital want to know whether it's safe enough for you to go back home or you need to be hospitalized. That's what they want to know. If you're gonna die tomorrow, or if it's okay for you to go back home, so any workup can be done outpatient. So that's what the hospital wants to know. So so that's why you need a primary care. The primary care, let's say you go to a hospital with an abdominal pain, and you've been dealing with that quite a while, and the primary care already did a CT scan on you. The primary care already knows you don't have any hernia, you don't have a gallbladder problem, they already did a lot of tests on you. So when you go to the emergency room, it might not be necessary. It might be, but then when they tell you to follow up with your primary care will know what to do next.
Exactly. Now, before we continue, let me first of all say hello to everyone that's listening right now. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Go on WSRF 1580 AM and subscribe so that you could get this show on a weekly basis. Now, I've been promising you guys that I will be doing the show on a weekly basis, and my schedule should be a little bit lighter in the upcoming week, so we're going to make sure that we come down here and bring you this information. You could also call to talk to Dr. Cemelus live right now, 305. Help me out, 945-1580, 305-945-1580. It's been a long time. So the line is open for you guys right now to call with your question. If you're new to Medicare, if you're new to Medicare, those are some questions that you want to ask. The role of a primary care and how a primary care is going to help you a great deal. Second of all, I'd like to send a big shout out to Miss Marta Anglade, which I saw yesterday. Miss Marta Anglade, we love you. We're thinking about you. You are in our heart. So let's get back to the role of the primary care. Now, oftentimes you hear patients talk about referrals. They have great problems getting the referrals. How does the primary care, what role does the primary care play with referrals?
So what we were saying earlier, that there is a lot of waste in the system. You might see a specialist, and the specialist will want you to see his friend. You want you to see his brother, who is another specialist. So, and then you trust, and then you want to be seen. And the question is, do you have any reason to be evaluated by a certain specialist? Let's say that, let's just take an easy example. Let's say that a 25-year-old male wants to check his prostate. Is there a reason for that?
Good point.
Probably not. But that's a question. That's something you need to discuss with your primary care, right? So let's say that a young female, same example, 25-year-old, right? She wants to do a mammogram because her aunt had breast cancer. That's something you need to discuss with a primary care. So you don't just go to see a gynecologist just because you want to have a mammogram. Probably can be discussed with the gynecologist, but that's something that easily the primary care can answer. So that's the primary care. The insurance doesn't see patients. You have a contract with your insurance, and the insurance wants you to see a doctor at least once a year. Let's say you're healthy. Let's say you don't take any medication, right? And you want to make sure that you maintain your health. And that's why you need to see a primary care at least once a year. And if you stay healthy, it's okay. You don't have to see anybody else unless, right, you have to do certain routine screening, a colonoscopy, where you need to see a gastroenterologist because a primary care would not do that. So for most insurance, especially Medicare insurance, insurances, so you would need a referral to go see the specialist. Some insurance, Gilbert probably has educated many of us regarding referral. So some insurance, especially the PPO insurance, they don't require to have a referral. But most of the patients I'm dealing with, they need a referral. So that's why the primary care in that regard has the role of the gatekeeper. The primary care has to make sure to educate the patient when a referral is not needed. Let's say that at some point, we took the same example for the cardiologist earlier. You went to the hospital, you had chest pain, you need to follow up with your primary care, and the primary care say, okay, let's follow up with a cardiologist, so the workup, which has never been done, we're gonna do it now. You did the workup, and the workup is normal, right? But the cardiologist wants to see you in 3 months. So that's why your primary care has to say, okay, is it really needed or not? Because if the workup is normal, why he wants to see you again? Or he saw you again in 3 months, everything is normal, but then he wants to see you in the next 3 months. So every 3 months he would want to see you. So that's the role of your primary care, to decrease the resources being wasted. Because again, medicine is a business, right? Unfortunately, we got a lot of abuse, a lot of fraud. It's not really fraud to see the patient, but it's probably an abuse when you see a patient so often with no really a necessity to see the patient. So that's why your primary care has to be has to play this role of gatekeeper, saying, I understand that this patient has chest pain, but his chest pain was because of acid reflux.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make sure that the cardiology workup was done and it was normal. So there's no necessity to keep following up with the cardiologist every 3 months. So we're not gonna need this referral. And you need to have this conversation with your doctor. It is a very hard situation, Gilbert, when some patient, they have been seen every 3 months and then they come to see you as a new physician and say, doctor, you're my new doctor now, but I have to let you know that I see this specialist every 3 months. I see this nephrologist every now and then. Because I was at the hospital once, he saw me, and then he wants to see me every now and then. So you as a primary care doctor, it's your role now to educate the patient, to make them know, listen, I reviewed the records, I have your current status. For now, this consult is not necessary. And I have to let you know, Gilbert, sometimes I have to let the consultation happen, even though sometimes it's not necessary, because I have to let the patient understand sometimes that even though I'm not, I don't agree with that, but you are the boss. You are the boss. For now, I'm going to let you see this doctor, and then we're going to have this conversation later on. But this is something that you have to do with all referrals. All referrals, you got to figure out whether it's needed or not, whether it's something that is necessary. So referrals have to go through primary care approval. And most of the time, the primary care, they approve it. If they don't approve it, when I don't approve a referral, this is what I do. When I'm not going to approve a referral, I call the patient. Okay, I call the patient, letting them know, listen, I see that you have an appointment to see this doctor, this endocrinologist, for example. Let me know why you're going to be seeing this endocrinologist. What is the reason behind it? Well, it's because I have hypothyroidism. He sees me every now and then. So, well, that's something that I can manage myself as primary care. Or you can say, well, it's because I'm diabetic and I have to see the endocrinologist. So now I'm going to realize, let's say patient A, right? He's a diabetic and is a well-controlled diabetic with an A1C at 6.2, taking one medication and with no with no major complication. So that's a diabetes that is well managed. And this patient has been seeing the endocrinologist every 3 months. Is it really needed to see the endocrinologist every 3 months? The answer is clearly not. But let's see patient B, right, who is a diabetic, taking insulin, but A1C at 9.5, and this patient clearly needs to follow up with an endocrinologist because the diabetes is not optimized. So sometimes you have to deal with the situation to find a specialist for this patient, and sometimes it's not easy. So it goes to the doctors, the primary care, understanding on how, why is it important for this patient to see the specialist. That's why the referral. So what I do all the time, if I don't feel it's needed, I call the patient.
Okay.
I call the patient and explain, listen, you don't need to see the specialist now, so let's discuss about it again next time we see each other. If you want to come next week, if you want to come this week, let's discuss about it. And if I feel the patient, if I see that it's becoming very conflictive, I usually let the consultation happen because the patient knows better about their own health.
Exactly. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. We are live with Dr. Jones Cemelus. You guys have heard him many years now on Source of Information every Wednesday. He's back. He's back. He's back. Glad for you to be back. Let's switch the conversation to diabetes, if you don't mind.
Well, diabetes is one of the major killer in this country. Let's call it what it is. It's one of the major. It's one of the disease that costs the system a lot of money. And it's you're very passionate about it. I mean, we got people who complain that we talk too much about diabetes, but we have to talk about things that are very common, and diabetes is one of them. Yeah, let's talk about it.
It is because in the clinic we face a lot of people with diabetes, and especially in our community because of the poor diet, poor lack of exercise. Possibly lack of drinking sufficient water. So, yeah, we got to talk about it. We have to make sure that these people are informed. And hopefully, the new people that's coming in, and I'm talking about the late baby boomers that's coming into Medicare right now, they have a better sense of how to better control their diabetes so that they don't run with a A1C of 9.5. So that's why we're talking about it, mainly. But for you, in terms of prevention, what's the best way of maintaining your level of A1C below 6.0?
So I have to make this correction. So drinking water has nothing to do with diabetes. So it is a very good. It's a very good habit. You need to drink a certain quantity of water, and if you can see, Gilbert has his own bottle of water. He walks with it.
We don't want anybody
all the
to
time. So that's one of the habits that I applaud from him. You keep your bottle and you drink it, and that's very important. But drinking water or not doesn't cause you to have diabetes. Absolutely, lack of exercise, it has something to do with that. The diet, definitely. So we were talking about prevention, right?
Right.
Prevention, how can I prevent become a diabetic? So you got to know why people are diabetic. So you obviously you have two types of diabetes, right? The type 1, type 2. Yeah, type 1 being a disease that is autoimmune. Autoimmune means that your body kind of attack your own body. There's some areas we don't understand well, but type 1 diabetes is usually a young person who end up developing the disease in his teenage. So there's not a lot we can do to prevent it, type 1 diabetes. most of people are not type 1. Most people are type 2 diabetes, which is a genetic, it is a disease that is inherited from our parents. But it's not only hereditary, it also depends on your circumstances. It's how you interact with the environment. So that means that there is a part you don't control in diabetes. You don't decide who your parents are. So if you have the genes that gonna cause you to be diabetic, you already have it. And in my experience, most people have a parent who is or were diabetic. So you have this heritage. One parent was diabetic, but now the other part is how you interact with your environment. So you can have two people, brother and sisters. One doesn't become diabetic, and the other does become diabetic. Why? It's because the way they eat and how much exercise they do. So the prevention is based basically on those two factors. What do you eat and how much exercise you do? So somebody used to say, the disease is in our plate. So we what we eat can make us healthier, but it also can make us sick.
That is so much true, because I often give this example. Whereas many years ago, it seems like the time go by so fast. I would come from work and sit down and eat a plate of rice and sauce pois. And the mountain of rice was this high, and I could literally I couldn't see anybody from the other side. And after eating that, and I would just sit right there and fall asleep.
Yeah.
And after a while, what I found out, I was gaining weight.
Yeah.
Because there was no exercise, and I'm sitting there. And one time I went to the doctors, and when I came back, my A1C was to the roof, my cholesterol was to the roof, and then I said, "Wow, I don't want to be like some of my patients, so let me do something about it." I start exercising.
Yeah.
And I think that's what saved my life, because otherwise, then I would be. When I get into my 60s, I would be like most of our patients, where the diabetes is out of control.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's one example that I think we should talk more often about, tell people more about.
I tell you that. I usually take the example of a car, right? When you're diabetic, you have to think of yourself as a car. Carbohydrates, right? Which is the rice, the pasta, everything that is sugar based. When I say sugar, it's not only the sweet stuff, but everything that will convert into sugar in our body. We're talking about rice, we're talking about bread, we're talking about soda, ice cream. What did not mention? I mean, most of what we eat is basically sugar based, starch. So all these products, they when we eat them, they become sugar. So we have to reduce them. Some of them, as a diabetic, we cannot even dream of them. You cannot dream of ice cream cake when you're diabetic. Don't even smell it, because those things are poisonous for you when you're diabetic. Soda, don't buy it at home. So you have to change your habit on the things that the way you shop as a diabetic. Why you want to buy cake? Why you want to buy ice cream? Why you want to buy soda when you're diabetic? So don't buy them. And I'm not only talking about the diabetic, but also the family members. If you're shopping and you have a diabetic at home, they're going to consume it as well. So you got to make sure you encourage them to eat the healthy stuff, which is less in sugar, less in carbs, but you increase the amount of protein Obviously, they're diabetic people. You tend to have other diseases, so you gotta make sure that they eat according to their cholesterol level. They eat according to their heart condition, the kidney condition. But you gotta increase the amount of vegetables in your diet. Vegetables means you eat a lot of carrots, a lot of tomatoes, spinach. Give me more, Gilbert.
The point that it's good you breaking it down. But what I want you to do is, because I had that question posed to me as Rose actually is the one that's responsible for this question a while back, and she was saying to me, we should discuss dietary habit of people in our community. Because when we had one patient, and he called me, and he was my patient way before he left, and he came back. And when he tell me he's coming back, and I say to him, I say, first of all, you gotta change completely. Change your diet. You gotta be very proactive about it. So I said, just like you said, starch, stay away from starch, stay away from rice, just vegetable. And then another time he called me, he says, I'm just boiling some plantain. I'm like, no, you got to stay away from that too. And his response to me is like,
what am I going to eat?
What am I going to eat? So I want
Everybody
you to
says the same.
So I really want you to cover that as Haitian people. How, and this month is Haitian Heritage Month.
Heritage Month, yes.
So I want you to cover that, because we love our banan pizé.
Yeah.
We love our John. I just had it last night.
Yeah.
We love our rice as a whole. And if you sit down at a table with Haitian, and there's vegetable there, the vegetable will sit there and spend weeks. Nobody will touch it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I make sure that I tell patients is that I am not taking away your food. Okay. The only thing I'm taking away from a diabetic are the things that I said earlier. Don't dream of ice cream. Don't dream of cake. Don't buy soda in your house. You cannot do this kind of stuff. Those food are poisonous for you. Everything else, we have to have a conversation about them. Everything else. I'm not telling anybody. I never tell the diabetic you cannot eat rice. When you tell a Haitian you cannot eat rice, so you just tell him, I don't want to be your doctor anymore. I don't want to be in this conversation, because that's our culture. So you got to understand two things. So what do we usually eat? So we usually eat a lot of rice. I'm never going to tell a Haitian patient, you cannot eat plantain. I'm never going to tell a Haitian patient, don't eat. So there are certain food that have a more quantity of sugar. I'm just putting it simple. Let's say, for example, our bread.
No.
Right? The Haitian bread.
The Haitian bread, actually, you could take it, leave it on the counter for a week, and come back. It's the same bread when you put it on the counter.
Yeah.
It doesn't get rotten. It's still soft. But
the Haitian bread is full of sugar. So what we're talking right now is how much do you eat of it? So there are two things that I always sit down with my patient when it comes to diet is the quality of the food and the quantity of the food.
right.
So if I tell you can eat rice, but you really have to eat less.
Portion.
So if you're gonna eat rice, the brown rice is the best choice you have. But no Haitian eat brown rice. And we know, the taste is not good. But you gotta find a way to get accustomed to the healthy stuff, right? You gotta find a way to like couscous. You gotta find a way to start cooking quinoa. because those are healthier than white rice.
And more expensive.
Not necessarily. I mean, yes, if you look at it this way, but white rice, the bag, the 20 pounds bag, it's. I mean, I've seen the price, and it's increasing. We have an inflation on everything.
Okay.
We have inflation on everything. So, and then the more homogeneous is your plate. So when your plate has only one item on it, it's really bad. You gotta find a way to diversify your plate, to put more stuff on your plate. Don't just eat rice. If you can cook the rice with beans, it's better. If you can cook the rice with beans and then you put on the plate a salad on the side, it's better. You gotta put more stuff on your plate. So make sure that it's not sweet. Make sure that it's not more sugar. So your plantain, if it's sweet, you know it's not good. Your plantain, again, plantain is starch.
Exactly.
Starch becomes sugar. Again, I'm not gonna tell you cannot eat it. The only thing, I'm gonna repeat it again. The only thing you should never eat if you're diabetic, don't buy ice cream, don't buy soda, don't buy cake, all right? And make sure that you don't eat this kind of stuff. But everything else, see how much starch they have.
So
White rice, hold on a second. White rice is a lot of sugar, so you have to decrease it. If you eat brown rice, it has less sugar. Now again, let's take example of white bread. White bread is more sugar than brown bread, right? So the integral bread, right?
right.
So, but what if someone eat just 2 slices of white bread compared to someone who eat the whole bag of integral bread? So if you eat a whole bag of integral bread, you're eating too much, because even though you eat a better quality of food, but you're eating too much. But if you eat the entire bag of white bread, definitely you're not doing good. So you gotta make sure that you eat good quality food, but the quantity also, you make sure you understand it.
Well, a great portion of our listeners, especially those that's with us, they have food stamp. They have all the plans now have a meal card, so they can afford to buy quality food.
They can.
Okay, so there's no excuse there, because you have a meal card that's in most cases you're getting about $200 on the meal card. Plus you're getting food stamp. So right now there's no excuse. Even though yes, there's inflation on food. There's high tariff on of course of eggs and so on and so forth. But there's really no excuse. With the rest of the time that we have, I want to.
Well, time's runs really fast. 2:42.
Oh yeah. When we here, it's running rampant.
Yeah, but Gilbert, what I wanna. So I was telling about, because there's a other portion, not only the diet, but also how much exercise you do. I said earlier that you gotta compare yourself to a car. So the gasoline that the car uses as a diabetic is the sugar, right? Our brain only uses sugar, right? There are certain cells in our body that they just use sugar as fuel, as carburant. So, but if you fill the tank of the car, you gotta run the car. After you eat, you gotta start exercising. A good healthy habit is to walk 30 minutes every day. If you cannot do it every day, walk 3 times a week, 1 hour. Now, not everybody has the same mobility, right? Certain people have knee problems. Certain people have hip problems. They cannot walk that often. But many insurances, they have a gym membership. They can go to the gym, do a stationary bicycle. Some people even have elliptical at home. they can do at least one physical activity, the more you exercise, the better. So many people, that's one of the things we figure out, and it's not really rocket science, that most diabetic in this country, they can be controlled with diet and exercise alone.
Yeah.
And many people are doing it right now because but we are a lazy country. We are lazy. We want things. We want a pill for everything. I want the diabetic shot. I want to lose weight with the shot. That's what everybody wants. They want the magic shot, the silver bullet, to do the thing for you. So what I want you guys to understand, everybody who's listening, is that the best way to control, not to cure, because we don't cure diabetes. Now, if we have to talk about cure, we got to talk, that's another topic. So the best way to control the disease is to manage it with diet and exercise. There is something that is called, Gilbert, disease reversal. Disease reversal means that I control the disease to a point that most people don't know if I don't have I have the disease. So let's say that you're diagnosed with diabetes, right, in 2022, and the doctor sit down with you. He tells you you gotta start exercising. You gotta start taking care of your diet. Eat less rice, less bread, less pasta, less spaghetti. You gotta eat more vegetables, and the fruits that you eat has to be less sweet. So make sure that you eat right and you exercise more. And you do these things, and not only your sugar is going down, but also your weight is going down, because they go together. So your weight is going down, your sugar is going down, and now your A1C that was at 12 to begin with, now is at 5.6. And I tell you, well, you don't need medication for now. Let's remove the medication and see what happens. We remove the medications, and your A1C stays normal at 5.6. Mm-hmm. So if you're not taking any medication, you're not on, your A1C is controlled, your sugar is controlled, you have done what is called disease reversal. So you reverse the disease. It's not that you don't have the disease anymore.
It's just that it's controlled.
You do have it, but it's controlled to a point you don't need medication. And if you were to find a new doctor, the doctor doesn't have any document on you, he would say, well, you were never diabetic. I mean, I don't know about your diabetes. So that's the ideal situation for everybody who's diabetic. When you're newly diagnosed, this is what you wanna do. You wanna reverse the disease to a point that you don't need medication. You can do it not only for diabetes, but also for blood pressure, heart disease. So that's what we want. So, but it comes with eating the right stuff and exercising. Some people, they want to do it with a shot. But are you going to take the shot for the rest of your life? That's the question.
And the shot help you cause you to regain the weight after if you once you stop taking it as well.
Some people they get educated, because I'm not bad mouthing shots, because shots they have done wonders. Many people cannot exercise. Some people have what is called addiction to food. That's a real thing. Don't think that you only get addicted to alcohol, and there's such a thing called food addiction. You get addicted, and it's not easy for you to stop eating. So you have to train your brain, right? Mm-hmm. To tell your brain, I don't need to eat right now. You gotta find a way to train your brain to eat, to live, not to live to eat.
305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. It sounds much better now than I remember the numbers. So 305-945-1580. I want you to call right now. Let me hear the question that you have for Dr. Cemelus, because we have once in a while. We're going to have them hopefully on a regular basis now on Wednesdays. So let's make them feel welcome, and call with your question right now. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. So diet and exercise is the right balance to at least to help you with diabetes.
Not only diabetes, everything that comes with your health. You gotta have diet. You gotta have the right diet, the right exercise, and the right diet, the right exercise will help you stay healthier and live a long life.
I think we may have a call. We have someone on the line. Hello, you on the air?
Yes, I opened the program because I saw on my brother sent something on Facebook, and I went to it. A few weeks ago, I was there. They were interviewing me. But now, I just came from the doctor, just having a fight, because she refused to give me a referral. And also, I'm diabetic, but that's the second thing. And you're talking about both things that interest me. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Can you? I don't know if she already left.
No, she's still here.
Pardon me?
Yeah, you're talking about referral. What was the referral for?
Yeah, the referral. Okay, I went to the primary. Mm-hmm. And it's not the first time I told her that I needed to see a specialist for scoliosis. The scoliosis is bothering me.
The specialist for what?
To see my back, my
oh,
back.
your back. Okay,
spine.
okay.
Yeah, scoliosis. When you have scoliosis, you have a deformity of the spine.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You've seen one before, or would that be the first time?
Oh, when you have a deformity of the spine, it's something you didn't realize it when you were young, but you probably were born with it. So you come to a certain age, they don't make you understand. At your age, it's too late. Okay? I don't take that for an answer myself personally.
Yeah.
Because you can always try, you can make yourself better. But you can have an amelioration. I mean, you may not correct the spine completely, but you may prevent falling. It may prevent that you must use a cane or a walker.
Yeah,
If it's managed. So I called my insurance, and they gave me a few names to call. And I found a doctor who is in the Miami Beach area. I make an appointment, and now getting a referral from her, it's a big problem. Morning, I went and she explained to me all the reasons that it's like she knows. I said, yes, but I know you know a lot. You're a doctor, you know. But I would, finally, I said, I'd like to have a second opinion. He said, I'm going to make you see the orthopedic here in the center, and he has 40 years of experience. He will advise us. That's exactly what I don't want. Because when you go to those kind of centers, you don't go to a private doctor. That means the person has to do what you call a control, finance control. The center not going to spend a lot of money letting you get the help you need. So when I asked her for the second opinion, that's what she told me.
Yeah.
You know, and I take care of myself very well. Okay, you're a doctor, but let me tell you, you are both doctors, but let me tell you, I had cancer when I was 72. Okay, it's been 14 years. And then I had good treatment, but I took care of myself. I am what you call a folk doctor, folk medicine doctor. You know, I do presentation medicine. So I took care of my, when I was on chemotherapy, two things people should know. Feuilles citronelle. Boire constamment. Et puis, tout va rentrer dans l'ordre. Tout est rentré dans l'ordre pour moi avec mon cancer du poumon. It left me with COPD, but the COPD too, I control it with lung shot. So I take care of myself. If I ask you to let me see a specialist, let me see the specialist. I have an insurance who will pay for it, so let me see the specialist.
Yeah, and again, I don't know the entire circumstances because that's usually a situation where the primary doctor has to really sit down with the patient and explain why it's not needed for you to see the specialist. So I don't know why the conversation is why it reaches this point. To my understanding, if I explain to a patient, right, that's the way I am. If I explain to you you don't need to see the specialist and you're still convinced you have to see the specialist, I will let you see the specialist. So that's the way I am, but not all doctors need to be like that. So you have to understand that if the insurance, they realize you as a PCP, right, the patient are not happy with you and you are doing a lot of referrals, you can end up losing your accreditation. So this is a situation when the doctor has to use his or her knowledge to make sure that this is something needed. Now, if I were to say something about scoliosis, usually the time we can do something about scoliosis is early age, when you are at a young age and you can do some intervention to prevent the scoliosis or to correct the scoliosis. Usually at young age, yes, you can do it.
But when I was young.
But
at a young age, I wear a.
Yeah, after a certain age, what can be done when you reach the third station of your life? What can be done is physical therapy, right? To make sure that
I do that.
Yeah, to make sure that you alleviate the pain, right? Make sure that the pain is managed. But
I manage the pain. And I don't take medicine. I mean, I don't take a lot of medicine, but once in a while, I just started with what she gave me. Really, it's a muscle relaxer. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't like to take those things, but I take it for a while because it was really bothering the pain in my arm, and I know it's the scoliosis who gave it to me.
Yeah.
But I managed the pain. But I feel just like you said. She did stand up. She was so stand up in me. The body language is like she was on top of things. That she stand up and she tell me why she's not letting me. Yes, in the center we have an orthopedic you can see. But when I insisted, at least let me have a second opinion. She refused. That means, but I understand what you said, but this is the first time I asked her for a referral. This is the first time. And I told her, I said, I understand the center doesn't want you to give people referral. They want you to use the service they have inside here. But I feel that I need an opinion with for the scoliosis, although you told me that at least a specialist will tell me what's best for me, and I would make my own decision.
Yeah.
But since she doesn't want, I've already make the boss, the old Jewish man who was seeing me for a while.
Okay.
So that's what I did. Okay.
All right. So
much.
I think you had another concern. You were talking about is it diabetes that we were talking?
The diabetic. I heard all the things you said, and I'm happy to hear that. It's a gene that some of the brothers or sisters may have it, some don't have it, because we were eight in the family, 8 brothers and sisters. We're still there, and some of us are, in our 90s. The first one who died was a doctor. He died young. My father was also a doctor. But in the 7 kids that left, so 70s, 80s, and 90s, and some of us are diabetic, but we control it. And what my sister did, what you just explained, reverse. I have it. I have it for more than 40 years. I was 132, but I lost pounds because I didn't know I couldn't drink milk until I found out I lost 20 pounds. Now I got 10 back. I'm at 118, 120 right now. So,
Wow, that's a good thing.
Yeah, my diabetic is well controlled.
That's very good. That's very good.
And I eat rice because I like rice. But
you eat enough that you need.
When I eat rice, I take a repaglinide.
You eat to live. You don't live to eat.
That's good. That's good. Thank you for.
I like rice. I could have for a while I didn't eat rice. Now I'm eating rice because I lost too many pounds when I had that problem. It was making me lose pounds, and the doctor couldn't find it.
Thank you very much for calling, and we really appreciate you calling.
I really appreciate your program, and I think I will watch it more often.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's very educative.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure to have you guys with us this afternoon. Stay tuned for the next show, which will be in Creole. Dr. Cemelus, as always, it's a pleasure of having you.
Thank you, Gilbert.
Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure. Steve, the ball is in your court. We're going to take a break. See you shortly.